This podcast is sponsored by the Fireman Moving Company. The Fireman Moving Company is the official moving company of WKU Athletics. Not only can they be trusted to move all the coaches in and out of Western, but they can move you anywhere nationwide. The Fireman Moving Company is owned and operated by firemen and is founded by WKU alumni. If you're looking to move sometime soon, give them a call at 270-791-1755 and get yourself a free quote. Welcome to Topper Talk, your number one Western Kentucky athletics podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Moffitt, and I'm joined by co-host Tyler Bailey. Hilltopper Nation, whether it's happening on the hill or on the road, grab those red towels, stand up and cheer, because it's up next on Topper Talk. All right, welcome back, and thank you for downloading and listening to another episode of the Topper Talk podcast. We are the official podcast of the Red Towel Trust Collective, and we're also a proud member of the College Huddle podcast community. Make sure you're following us on all of our social medias, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, pretty much anywhere you can find us. Be sure to search our name, give us a follow, and then also slide on over to our YouTube channel at Topper Talk Podcast. Subscribe over there. Make sure you're seeing all these video episodes weekly as we upload them. And I've got Tyler here with me. We have got a fun Conference USA tournament episode to dive into. But before we do that, we've got a big wrap up we got to jump into. Man, Tyler, you ready to jump into it?
Hell yeah, boy, let's get it.
And that Red Towel wrap up, which catches us up with all the athletics that we've missed since we last recorded, is brought to us by Trent Bedding Company.
Don't forget your headboard, pillows, and your sheets. We got everything you need for a good night's sleep. Number one on the same check, best of Bowling Green.
All right. Hey! Twins, full, queen and king, mattresses for anything. Come and pick it out and we can bring it to your house. Have you sleeping real good before the weekend's out. Trent Bedding. It's just like a mattress store. Hey.
All right, let's get into it. Golfer Sydney Hackett was named Conference USA Golfer of the Week after helping lead WKU to a victory in the UNF Collegiate with a third-place finish.
Yeah, last time we recorded, we went over the results for that event, that invite that they were at, and it was odd that Katie Craig was not at the top of the leaderboard. We talked about her having a rough first round. I think she shot 10 over in the first round, but it was also very telling that the rest of the team picked up the slack, was able to pull out an impressive team victory, and Sydney Hackett, being our leading scorer in that game, finishing in third place, deserved and earned that Golfer of the Week award. So definitely congratulations to Sydney for that award.
But wait, there's more Lady Topper golf news. They moved up to number 57 in the rankings as well.
Yeah, highest ranking ever for the golf program. They were a very nice number 69 last week when we recorded. Now moving up 12 more positions to 57. Y'all really like this team. I think we've got a lot of really good talent. We saw that last event where our usual top golfer didn't perform where she usually is, and they still were able to pick up and get a convincing win, and the team's moving up to 57 now. So I expect nothing but more of that as we get into the spring tournaments. I think they're going to keep winning, keep rolling, and that ranking is going to keep climbing.
Moving on to the tennis team, Sophia Blanco was named Conference USA Women's Tennis Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, she went 4-0 last week, and she was playing in the number 1 and number 2 positions for the tennis team, which means she was playing the other team's number 1 and number 2 players, and still went 4-0 for the week and helped us win a couple matches there. So definitely big time and earned and deserved recognition for Sophia.
Well, speaking of Sophia Blanco and Rachel Hermanova named Conference USA Women's Double Team of the Week as well.
Yeah, this might just be an of the week Red Towel wrap up so far, but yeah, Sophia and Rachel, having a really good start to the season. They were 3-1 last week, and they are currently ranked number 85 in the nation, which is really impressive when you consider how many teams are playing tennis, and then each team that plays tennis has multiple doubles teams. So for them to be ranked number 85 is a pretty impressive feat. So congratulations to both of those ladies.
Now, tennis in this past week, they played FIU. WKU lost 0-4. Then they turned around and played Murray State, lost 3-4, and then turned around and beat Tennessee State 7-0.
Yeah, a couple tough losses there. FIU is a really solid program in tennis. I think they've won the conference championship, several years in a row now. They're solid. So, that 0-4 loss is nothing to hang your head at. Hate losing to Murray State. I feel like we just lost to them in baseball a couple weeks ago, handed us our only loss so far. But it was nice to see them bounce back with that convincing win over Tennessee State and take care of business against them.
In the Pro Tops news, George Fant was released by the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, we hate that for George. Obviously, former basketball hilltopper went and played football for a season, then somehow has landed in the NFL and been there for quite a while. His second stint with the Seahawks there. Had some injuries over the last couple of years, but when he's got to play, he's been pretty solid. So hopefully he gets another chance, can sign somewhere. It'd be real neat if it was, just down the road with the Titans or something. I'm not a Titans fan, but it would still be cool if he was right down the road and you could see him play. But we obviously, hope that Big George gets healthy first and foremost, and then we hope he, lands on his feet somewhere and gets to continue playing in the NFL.
Moving on to Lady Toppers basketball, they beat FIU 83-48, then lost to Liberty 74-70.
Yeah, the Lady Toppers, that was the end of their season, just like the men have just ended theirs. They finished the season with a 22-8 record. They were 13-5 in conference play. As I was reviewing their win-loss record for the whole season, I found it interesting that they had a 7-game win streak, they had a 6-game win streak, and then they had a 5-game win streak. I thought that was pretty impressive that they had 3 really long win streaks throughout the season. We talked a ton about how much Greg Collins had improved the roster and the team, and the fact that they showed that by winning a lot more games this year. And they are going into the Conference USA tournament this week that we'll be recapping here shortly as the number 3 seed. So definitely a really solid season. And now, it's a new season. Now everybody's 0-0. Time to go make some noise in Huntsville.
Now we're going to move on to softball team. They played Sam Houston State University. Game 1 went into extra innings, went into 12 innings total, and Western pulled out the win 9-5. In Game 2, it was a 4-8 loss, and then Game 3, a 0-2 loss.
Yeah, I hate that they lost their first conference series of the season, but it was a tough series for them. That first game, they dang near played 2 games. That one, come back the next day and lost a tough one, 4-8. Then obviously to get shut out 0-2 in the third game. Not what we have seen from them so far this season. So hopefully they bounce back in their next series and turn it around and get a series victory.
And on the baseball side of the spring sports, WKU baseball played UNC Asheville and won Game 1 12-0 in a shutout dub. In Game 2, they won 8-2, and in Game 3, it was a butt kicking 17-5 win. And in Game 4, I guess they was just tired, but they won 3-0.
Yeah, I know we're going to talk more about baseball here in just a second, so I'm not going to ruin what's coming next. But yeah, just a really impressive series victory. I mean, they are just absolutely rolling right now. The offense is firing on all cylinders. The pitching looks amazing. The last couple of years, I feel like we've talked about games where the pitching would start off solid, and then as we got to middle relief and the closers, we'd give up a lead late in the game and just couldn't finish it out. And they're rolling. The bats are hot. The pitchers are, firing it out up there. So really like what I'm seeing. And the baseball tops, they're fun to watch. Definitely get out there, get to the Nick and support them, watch a game. Same for softball, but definitely, both those teams deserve our support.
And as you said, speaking of WKU baseball, they're currently number 9 nationally in lowest team ERA at 2.67. Also number 7 in the 11.7 mid-major rankings, and they have a 15 9-1 overall record.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was pretty impressive when I saw that number 9 lowest rated team ERA in the nation. I mean, that's impressive. To be in the top 10 in any statistic nationally is impressive. But pitching's going to win a lot of ball games. And then that mid-major ranking, we've talked about every single week. They were kind of middle of the pack when the season started. I think they were around 15 or 16. They moved up to 11, and now they moved up to 7. And also interesting that Dallas Baptist has fallen from number 1. I think they're 3 or 4 now. So by time I don't know, I haven't looked to see when we play them in conference play, but could be just a game that determines who that mid-major ranking where we're at. And Dallas Baptist is also top 25 right now. So we keep winning series. There's a chance that we might start receiving some votes and looking at a top 25 potential ranking for this team. So man, really excited for what's going on over there, man. Just a really solid team and performances by Coach Rardon and his team.
And it's that time of year again. WKU football spring practice kicked off today.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a couple weeks. Once that schedule was announced and released, and today, a few of the coaches had some media availability this morning before practice started. Coach Helton, offensive coordinator Rick Bowie, and then co-defensive coordinators Devon Brown and Davis Merritt. They all had some media availability. We shared those video links on our Twitter account. We shared the YouTube links. So definitely check those out. Just nice to hear from the coaches and what they're looking for and what they're expecting from the, a lot of new faces on this team. Coach Helton talked about there being 50, close to 50 new players signed, and most of those are already on campus. So, it's nice to get spring ball started. Means we're that much closer to summer, that much closer to fall ball, and field steel coming out, and pads starting to pop. So here for it. I'm just glad for football to be in the air. Hopefully, try to sneak over there sometime this spring and check them out.
Now we're going to look at the Conference USA basketball honors. On the women's side, Alexis Meade, she won first team, and Josie Gilvins won second team, and Destiny Salary also got second team honors. Alexis and Josie was all defensive team. And on the men's side, Don McHenry got the second team nod. Christian Lander and Tyrone Marshall got honorable mentions. And Julia Stedford got the all freshman team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I agree with all those. I think Josie should have been first team. I think Don should have been first team. Christian and Tyrone, I think, could have been a little higher. But at the same time, I also think it speaks to the depth of talent that is in Conference USA. I mean, this was a top 10 ranked conference in all of the nation, and there's 32 Division I conferences playing basketball. So being in the top 10 is pretty solid. And even though our team, the men's side, finished 7th, the women finished 3rd, we still have some pretty good performers and people that deserved this recognition. So definitely congratulations to all of those for those all conference honors.
And that concludes this week's episode of the Red Towel Wrap Up. Moff, back to you.
Yeah, man, good stuff. Always love to hear all those of the week award winners. Seems like those are piling up every single week. Sometimes I kind of wish I kept a compiled list. I usually I backspace and write over my notes, but it just seems like the of the weeks are a pretty weekly thing. Nice to see the Hilltoppers performing very well on the field. But now we get to turn our attention to our Conference USA tournament preview. As we all well know, at this point, WKU has ended the season with a 17-14 overall record. They finished 8-10 in conference play. After their last homestand, saw us beat FIU 76-67, and then we turned around and lost to Liberty 90-61 on senior night this past Saturday. Now, obviously, this basketball season didn't quite go, I would say, as either one of us planned. If you go back and listen to our basketball preview and predictions episode, most of us had us into the 20 wins. But I don't think anyone could have, predicted just the amount of injuries that we would deal with. And, several guys lost for the season, several guys that missed several big chunks of games. And it really just turned into an inconsistent team that the last 3 weeks, I feel like every single episode title could have been Jekyll and Hyde because we'd play a good game Thursday, bad game Saturday, or vice versa. We played really, really well, really, really bad. And, a lot of that inconsistency was just due to having such a short bench. When you go from having a 15, 16 man roster and you're only playing 7 guys, just as recently as a couple weeks ago before Enoch came back. Guys' legs get tired. You're on the road. It's hard to win. It was just inconsistent, and it just led to us not winning as many games as we probably could have. If we had been fully healthy. At this point in the season, you can say, what if, all day long. What if Baba was around and healthy? What if Julius, was healthy, or Tegan, or just any of the guys that aren't available right now? Because, I don't think there was anyone in Conference USA that stood out and was so much better than anyone that they couldn't be beat. I mean, even the people that are finished above us, we split series with several of those, and the guys that we lost 0-2 to, we competed with them. Typically at home, when we were away, we would get beat worse. But Conference USA was tough. But overall, I would have to say I was pleased with the competitiveness of this team. The defensive effort was always there. You can say the offense was inconsistent at times, but I really liked what I saw from first-year coach Hank Plona and just the energy he brought to this team, the style of play he brought to this team, and just how aggressive they were and just how hard they fought every single night, win, lose, or draw. You were going to get their best effort, and they were going to leave it all on the court, and that's all you can ask for. And quite frankly, now we're turning the page. We're going to the Conference USA tournament, and everybody's starting 0-0. It don't matter if we're a 7 seed. We have to play one more game. We have to start playing Tuesday night. We saw what happened last year. This time last year, we were talking about a 4-game losing streak, and people hanging their heads and deciding they weren't going to Huntsville. Canceling plans, not making the trip. I went down there, had a great time. Was there the whole week, and you could see, from the Wednesday game to the Thursday to the Friday, like every game was getting more and more red, more and more packed as we saw our team just, flip the switch. Something came on, the defense was clicking, the offense was clicking, and the best version of WKU that we could see last year got hot in the second week of March. And there's nothing saying that can't happen again. So I'm really looking forward to it. Tyler, what are your thoughts on just, the overall season and how it's ended, and kind of looking forward to the Conference USA tournament now?
I got the end of it. Yeah, so the season, you're right, it didn't go as planned. No one could have foreseen the future. Injuries that we would have had. I mean, Julius Thedford, he was a stud whenever he was out there. Bob Carr, he is a great post player before he got injured. But whenever those guys went out, other guys had to fill that spot. And I feel like they did. Yes, our interior post defense or post presence could have been a little bit better, but we do have some very hard-nosed guards that will step up and play hard-nosed defense. And I've seen players sacrifice their bodies by diving on the floor, hustling after the loose ball. Sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. But our defense, you can't question that. And defense, they say defense wins you championships. Well, our defense is there. Sometimes the offense does take a back seat. But I think Christian Lander's kind of leading the charge on if the outside shots ain't falling, get inside and either get fouled or get a layup and one. Because the last few games, that's been his bread and butter. He ain't hitting the threes. He's getting inside and he's drawing a foul. And I feel like that could be the blueprint to get us into the championship game. Because our shots sometimes don't fall. Sometimes we shoot really bad from the outside the arch. But I feel like if all the players can buy in to get in and getting fouled, I feel like we have a great chance of winning it because it's kind of like I said, the defense is there. The defense is hard. These guys don't quit. They don't give up. That's something we've learned whenever we've seen them play, like against Jacksonville State at Jacksonville State, New Mexico State at New Mexico State. These guys, They don't quit. They play hard. And I feel like that loss to Liberty's only going to fuel their passion, fuel their fire. No one likes getting blown out on senior night at home. And these guys, and I was sitting there in the press room with Coach Hank, and you could tell he was hungry. He wasn't happy, and I can only imagine that seniors on the team and the rest of the team felt the exact same way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one game at a time. That's how we have to look at it, and how the team has to approach it, and get ready for the best effort from who you're playing, and obviously you have to execute and play your best ball to advance or go home. That's the name of the game. So we're gonna comb over every game. We're gonna give our projections on who we have winning, and see who we have. If we can take off the red glasses, or if we, who knows, maybe Western wins. So I'm going to start with, if you're watching the video version of the presentation here on YouTube, I've got the bracket now pulled up on the screen. Vanna White Tyler over there has it displayed proudly for us. So first, looking at the first round game, tomorrow, Tuesday at 5:30 on ESPN Plus, the tournament opens with UTEP and Sam Houston playing. That is the 8 seed versus the 9 seed, with UTEP being the ranked favorite there as 8 seed versus Sam Houston. But I'm going to go with Sam Houston getting that victory, and I'm mainly doing that because I think they have enough talent to win, and I think they've been streaking here over the last couple weeks and have put together some wins. They finished really highly last year. They were on top of the conference, and just this year has been somewhat of a disappointment for them. But I still think they have all the talent. We've seen when they play their best, even against us. They're still a really good basketball team. Lamar Wilkerson is a solid guard and can lead them to victory. So I've got them pulling the upset versus UTEP and advancing to play Liberty in the next round. Tyler, who you got in that matchup?
See, I'm gonna go with UTEP in this one. They do have a better record than Sam Houston State, even though Sam Houston State has been streakier. I just feel like UTEP is going to be the one there because this is their last season in Conference USA. They got to be hungry to at least win it, or at least win some games in their last conference championship here at Conference USA. And I just feel like they're the one that's going to be playing Liberty on Wednesday.
Fair enough. I'll take it. I'm not telling you who you can and can't pick, so I like it. We don't have to agree. Should be a tough game. I think with the parity we've seen all year, flip a coin on almost all these games, I think, and you could figure out who's going to win just as accurately as we might pick. So who knows? Jumping down to the next game in the first round, again, tomorrow as we record late Monday night, our own Hilltoppers, the 7 seed, play the FIU Panthers, obviously who we just got done beating this past week on Thursday. That game's at 8 o'clock. It's on ESPN Plus. Red glasses or not, I just think this is a matchup on a neutral site court that WKU is going to have the advantage in. We struggled on the road. At FIU, we took a pretty bad loss to them, but we kind of returned that favor and took care of business this past Thursday at home. And I just don't think we're one and done. I think we're better than that. I think we have too much senior leadership on this team to allow that to happen. So give me the Hilltoppers moving on and beating FIU. Tyler, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going with WKU to win this one. FIU, they're kind of terrible away from the confines of FIU, and of course this is a neutral site, and I don't feel like they're going to play really well. And I agree with you. We do have a lot of weapons that are at our disposal, and I think Coach Hank is going to have them firing on all cylinders starting the tournament.
All right, looking forward then to the Wednesday games. I have Sam Houston State, like I said, advancing, beating UTEP, so they'll be playing Liberty. That game is at 5:30 on Wednesday on ESPN Plus. Obviously Liberty coming in, they're the number 1 seed. They won the conference regular season. And I think it's kind of fitting that I have them playing the regular season champions from last year in Sam Houston, a team that's really hot, really streaking. But I think I have to give the edge to Liberty in this one. I just think they're a really solid team. Really talented from top to bottom. They didn't win Coach of the Year. They didn't have anybody on the first team All Conference team that was just released earlier today, and they only had one player on the second team. And I think there's a little bit of some chip on their shoulder, some fire in their bellies, some a little bit of okay, somebody's going to find out. And this is their first opponent, and in my eyes, it's Sam Houston, and I think they just might run into a little bit of a buzzsaw of a mad Liberty team that's just going to take care of business. So give me Liberty winning that game, or give me death. Tyler, who you got?
Oh, so this is tough because in my brackets, Liberty and UTEP, they split the regular season. That Peters guy from Liberty, he's playing great right now. Of course, he's played great all season. But Otis Frazier is also playing good for UTEP. I feel like Liberty's probably going to win this one. I feel like more of their fans are going to make the trip, so it's going to be more of a home court advantage type feel for them, since it is somewhat closer than El Paso is. But give me Liberty winning this matchup.
I'll take it. Nothing wrong with that one. Now, moving on, looking at the next second round quarterfinal matchup, we have the Ray Harper rematch. You could call it. We have the Jacksonville State Gamecocks, the number 2 seed, will hopefully be facing our Hilltoppers, the 7 seed, if we advance and beat FIU. So, we know that this season, Jacksonville State and Ray Harper's had our number. We remember them and how Ray reacted in Diddle Arena when he beat us and thought he won his Super Bowl. And at the time they were the number 1 seed in the conference. Ultimately, they fell apart, lost a couple games down the stretch, and gave that 1 seed away to Liberty. And then they were able to beat us when we played them at Jacksonville State as well. But both of those games were very tightly contested. We were right there. We could have won either one of those games. Give me a neutral site, WKU. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in any season. I'm not looking up the data of how often it happens. And, if the team that loses twice wins the third one, majority of the time. But winning 3 times is hard versus any team. Ray Harper just won Coach of the Year. It'd be a beautiful, terrible, awful thing for us to go in there and just rain on his parade and send him home one and done. It would kind of remind me of last year, Louisiana Tech going in there being one of the highest rated seeds and getting bounced by MTSU on their opening night. So who knows? Deja vu. Give me the Hilltoppers beating Jacksonville State. Tyler, who you got?
We all know how Ray Harper is in conference tournaments. Yes, his first season at WKU, he won like what, 4 games in 4 days or 3 games in 3 days. I know it was one of them too. Maybe 4 in 4 days. But after that, I mean, how great of a job did he do? I don't recall him getting us to the conference championship. I've slept a little bit since then. But I feel like he has fallen apart. His team has lost some games here late in the season. And I think his one-trick pony of Pierre is going, and it's just ain't going to play as well as he should. And as you said, it is hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. So I like Western's chances to go in there, send Ray Harper and the fighting Gamecocks home. Go Tops.
I like it. Give me WKU all day in that one. Moving on, we're looking at the quarterfinals on Thursday. The first one we have is Kennesaw State versus New Mexico State. And man, this is kind of a clash of styles. You have a Kennesaw State that's a really young, really good offensive team, and then you have a New Mexico State team that's one of the best defensive teams in the conference. They are the number 4 and 5 seeds. This will be their first games with the buys that they get. But, I see this coming down to the young talent of Kennesaw State outperforming the tough defense that New Mexico State relies on. I just think Adrian Woolley and Simeon Cottle are just handfuls. And I just see Kennesaw State pulling out this victory. not being one and done. I think New Mexico State is sort of slumped coming down the last couple weeks of the season. So give me Kennesaw State winning that ball game. What about you, Tyler?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Kennesaw State's going to beat them. The Tasmanga brothers ain't going to really show up, and that Peter Flipovity and Robert Carpenter ain't going to be enough to beat the Adrian Woolies and the Jamil Millers and the Cottle. So I think the Kennesaw State Owls are going to win their first conference tournament game here in Conference USA.
And then the second quarterfinal game, we have Middle Tennessee and Louisiana Tech playing that night. This is a game that can they both lose? Can something just happen? The arena fall in and neither one of them win? I don't know. But yeah, you got the Blue Raiders who are playing really well, ended up as the 3 seed in the conference, and then you got the Louisiana Tech booty scratcher, Bacho booty sniffer, whatever he was trying to do with Jalen. I don't know what he was trying to do. But them as the 6 seed. And, La Tech has just been really, really, really inconsistent this season. They were picked to win the conference this year, with Daniel Bacho returning preseason conference play of the year. They just haven't been that. Obviously as a 6 seed, they barely hit that cutoff line for getting a bye in the tournament. And I think they're going to have deja vu from last year. I think they're going to be one and done, and I think they're going to fall to Middle Tennessee State again, just like they did last year in Huntsville. So as much as I hate to say it, give me the Blue Raiders. Tyler, who you got?
Well, the La Tech beat MTSU twice in the regular season, and if we're going by, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. I'd have to go with MTSU sadly beating the La Tech and the butt plug Bachos. I seriously hate both teams, but I think MTSU is going to be too much with the Porter kid and the Mufasa. I just feel like that's too much of a threat for La Tech, and I just don't feel like Bacho's going to be able to finger someone's butthole in this game. So give me the Blue Raiders. I don't like you, La Tech.
I don't like either one of them. Ugh, it's gross. Moving forward to the semifinals, I had Liberty moving forward, and I had Kennesaw State moving forward. So I've got those two matching up. On the first game on the 14th, that's at 11:30. It's on CBS Sports Network. Again, I think this is going to be another tough ball game with a really good and young Kennesaw State team. But I just think the Liberty team is more complete, top to bottom. We just saw them, this past Saturday playing really good basketball. They have just really good ball movement. They rotate well on defense, and when they're making shots like they were this past Saturday, they're hard to beat. They'll beat most anyone. Not saying they're just going to run through this tournament, but you're going to have to catch them on an off night, or you're going to have to slug back at them like we were unable to do this past Saturday. But give me Liberty. As much as it pains me to say it, give me Liberty beating Kennesaw State. You got the same matchup down there. Who you got?
See, this is where we're going to differ. KSU and Liberty both split the in regular season with Kennesaw State winning at Liberty, kind of like what we did. And I feel like they know how to shut down that Peters kid and Cleveland. He had an all-right game whenever Kennesaw won. So I just feel like the Woolley, the Cottle, Ricardo Wright, I just feel like they're going to come in and be spoilers to Liberty and send them home early.
Man, you would just hate to see it, wouldn't you? Now, quite possibly the biggest matchup on probably both of our brackets, I'd say, and it feels I guess I want to say poetic because how this season's gone for us. We've lost both games to MTSU this season. Last year we split those games and then we met them in the semifinals and we just absolutely blew them out. A 30, nearly 40-point victory in Huntsville with a lot of blue in the stands because our girls team was still playing, and they travel really well. It's an easy 2-hour trip from Murfreesboro. And now we kind of get that same thing this year. We're playing for a third time. both of us had said it's hard to beat a team 3 times. But keeping on that trend, I just have a hard time seeing this WKU team with as inconsistent as we played. If we're able to win 2 games, that's great. That's amazing. And obviously, if we get to MTSU, if that's who we're playing, or it's Louisiana Tech, either one of those teams, I just think it's going to be hard. Third game in a row, short bench, playing 7, maybe 8 guys. Once those legs get tired, the shots stop going in. And, I think it's going to be tough. As much as I would love to be wrong and love to see that miracle tournament run happen again, I'm going to have to, unfortunately, give this one to Middle Tennessee and project them to beat us for the 3rd time in the season, going against my own advice. Even though it is tough to beat someone 3 times, I just think this middle team is really good, really athletic, really solid roster. We know how much trouble Issa Mustafa has given us all season. He's still there. He'll be suiting up unless we get some bad luck or an injury or whatever. But I think MTSU beats WKU, unfortunately, and sends the Hilltoppers home. Tyler, who you got?
In order for us to win, our post players are definitely going to have to play good, even to get past Jack State, which I think we will, because they got that number 50. Best I recall, he's a bruiser down low. Now you get to MTSU and you have Mufasa. Mufasa is a beast down in the paint. We do have that. Let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have that Thursday off, so we would be playing on a Friday. So at least a little rest day for our guys. I can't do it. WKU beats MTSU, sends Mufasa, Porter, and all them other players home. The MTSU Blue, they had to save up every coin, dollar, penny to get enough gas money to drive down to Huntsville. So they're stuck down there watching their girls play another game. But I feel like WKU beats MTSU in the semifinals.
I like it. I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. I'm putting that out there right now. So I've got my final coming down. I've got it Liberty versus MTSU. Again, another game that I wish just both teams could lose. I don't want to pick a winner, but I think both of these teams have been probably the most solid, the most consistent this season. If it weren't for WKU's health and injuries, I think we'd be right there in that tier with them. But unfortunately, I think Liberty and MTSU probably may be the best teams in the conference this season, just from a pure depth of talent perspective. I think this is going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a battle. This could be one of those epic games that, people need to show up for. MTSU is going to travel for it. It's just a couple hours away from them if they are playing it. And Liberty, typically travels pretty well. We know Jeremiah and some friends will be down there. So, should be a fun game, but give me MTSU. I don't want it, but let them go back to their first dance since 2018, whenever oh boy Ribbit Kermit was there. So give me MTSU winning the men's side of the bracket. You've got Kennesaw State and WKU. I hope yours is better news than mine.
Well, I'm thinking about it because Kennesaw State, they have played decent this year. Our team would be really tired, really beat up. Screw it, I'm going with it. WKU beats Kennesaw State. Hank Plona works his magic. Him and the coach have a great game plan. I had my red glasses on for this one. You can say what you want to about me. I just can't. Of course, I always hope for the best. I guess I'm not a realist, but WKU wins, beats Kennesaw State, and advances to our 2nd straight NCAA tournament. McDevitt, you're trash. You've been there for 7 years. You ain't did really nothing. Ray Harper, also trash. You're a terrible person. I don't like you. Tops win the Conference USA tournament.
No ball hawks over there. That was all I heard. No ball hawks at Middle Tennessee or Jacksonville State. On audio and on 4K. I like it. Now we're gonna move over to the women's bracket and just run through it really quick. See who we've got winning here. So the first round game on March 11th, we've got Sam Houston opening against Jacksonville State. Admittedly, I don't know as much about the women's side of the bracket as I do some of these teams. I do, but we've seen that I've seen in Ditto Arena, a couple games this year, but not as well versed with the women's side of things. But I'm gonna go with Sam Houston. I'm going to take the 8 seed over the 9. So give me Sam Houston beating Jacksonville State and moving on to play Liberty in the second round. Tyler, who you got?
I'm gonna go same thing. I think Sam Houston State's gonna beat Jack State in the opening round. Sam Houston does have the better record, even if it is by a game or two. But I think Sam Houston State's gonna win that first one.
Yeah, then moving down to the second game Tuesday, that's a 2 p.m. tip off. We've got Kennesaw State, the 7 seed, going against UTEP, the 10 seed. Man, it just seems like UTEP's at the bottom of every sport we play. I don't know. That's just a coincidence. I don't know. But give me again. I'm going with the favorite. Give me Kennesaw. They should be favored to win. I feel like they're going to travel better to this game. Being just down the road in Georgia versus a team that's 12 hours away in El Paso is going to have virtually no fans there. Didn't have many last year for the championship game against us. So they're going to be a little bit of a home court advantage for Kennesaw State or a disadvantage for UTEP, however you want to look at that. But give me the Kennesaw ladies beating the Lady Miners. Tyler, who you got?
So Kennesaw State beat UTEP twice this season. And you're right, the lack of fans is definitely going to have an effect in this game. I don't like going against my judgment, but I think Kennesaw State's probably going to win this one as well.
I like it. I'm writing it down as we go. So moving forward in the second round, the quarterfinals, we have the 1 seed Liberty. I've got them going against Sam Houston State, same as you. I think Liberty kind of shocked everybody down the stretch, taking that 1 seed away from MTSU. Obviously, they had lost a game earlier to us. And then they lost that head-to-head late in the season to Liberty, and they were able to get that 1 seed and won. They won on both sides, men's and women's. So Liberty women are obviously really, really good. I'd heard that from the Liberty fans all season and didn't realize how good until we saw them face to face a couple of times. And then when they beat Middle Tennessee, in a clash of 2 really good teams, you knew at that point they're pretty legit. So give me the Liberty, the Lady Flames beating Sam Houston. Tyler, who you got? You got the same matchup.
Yeah, I think Liberty. They have had a great season so far. I don't see their coach letting them down anytime soon, or the players letting coach down anytime soon. So I'm gonna go with Liberty over Sam Houston.
And then looking at the second quarterfinal game, both of us have MTSU going against Kennesaw State. And again, I think we just talked about how good Middle Tennessee is and how they've been kind of the torch bearer, the flag bearer for multiple years now on the women's side of the conference. I think they're a really good team, even though they're the 2 seed and lost to Liberty. Obviously lost to us earlier this season. I think they're still really good and can make a run in this tournament. Rick Insell did win the Coach of the Year over there on the women's side. So give me Middle Tennessee. I don't think that game's going to be relatively close. I think they're going to take care of business. Tyler, who you got?
Yeah, you're right. Rick Insell, I mean, how many conference championships has he won? He's won a lot. The dude knows what he's doing. He's a great coach. He has a great team. I hate to say that, but I just think it's going to be too much for Kennesaw State to be able to overcome. So give me MTSU winning this matchup.
All right, and then looking forward to the other quarterfinal, the first quarterfinal matchup. We've got New Mexico State, the 4 seed, playing Louisiana Tech on the 13th. That game's at 11:30. It's on ESPN Plus. An early game. This is another game that, it's kind of a coin flip. Anytime you have that 4-5 matchup, two teams that were right there in the standings, I think this could simply come down to, Louisiana Tech is going to be a little bit closer, and Louisiana Tech typically travels really well for a very good and historic basketball team and program. That's been to multiple Final Fours, been to NCAA championship games. The Lady Techsters, expect to be good and expect to be great. Even in a down year as a 5 seed, I still think they're kind of one of those teams to watch out for. I think they get that victory. I think they beat New Mexico State. Tyler, who you got?
New Mexico State and La Tech split the regular season. And you're right, La Tech, they typically are good at basketball, so I'm gonna go with the Lady Textures as well.
And then our second quarterfinal game, we've got not a rematch of the game we just talked about a little bit ago, but WKU and FIU also facing off on the women's side. WKU, the Lady Toppers, are the 3 seed playing FIU. They are the 6 seed in the opening quarterfinal game. The game's at 2:00. It's on ESPN Plus. I just think we've seen really good basketball from the Lady Toppers this year, and I just think this team is too deep, too talented. They're healthy. They're playing really good. Josie Gilvin's just absolutely killing it. Should have been first teamer with Alexis Mead. Destiny Salary's been great. Mackenzie Chatfield. This team is just deep and ready to make a run, and they're going to take care of FIU. FIU is literally going to have 15 people there. They're all going to be wearing jerseys or FIU Adidas polos. That's the only people going to be there to support them. So give me the Tops all day, every day. Tyler, who you got?
I'm surprised you said they're going to even have 15 there. I'm going to take WKU as well. You're right, Alexis Mead. Hayes is going to be great. Mackenzie Chatfield, she's going to be adding to, and Destiny Salary. I think that's going to be too much for FIU to be able to overcome. So give me the WKU Lady Tops winning this matchup.
Then we get down to the semifinals. Man, this is it's going to be tough. We've got a couple of good games to talk about, but the Liberty Flames playing the Louisiana Techsters. Again, the 1 seed versus the 5 seed. I just think, quite frankly, this Liberty team is too much. They're too good. Just 1 through 5, really solid lineup. Plus, a couple good pieces on the bench that have stepped in and been productive for them. So I think this Liberty team is going to be tough to beat, and I don't think it's going to happen for Louisiana Tech. So give me Liberty advancing to the finals. Tyler, who you got?
Man, it really depends on which team travels the best because, like I said, they split. La Tech, whenever they beat Liberty, it was made by 1 point. When Liberty beat La Tech, it was by I think 8 or 9. I just feel Liberty's probably going to travel better. I feel like Liberty's probably going to win this one. I hate to say it, but I feel like the Flames are going into the semifinals.
All right, and then the other semifinal game we have is the 100 Miles of Hate rematch again. Both sides of our bracket has MTSU and WKU squaring off again. As we well know, they split the regular season this year. WKU winning the matchup in Dental Arena, and then fall into MTSU. Even though they did fight and claw that whole game, they were there to the very end. So this one, a neutral court in Huntsville. WKU giant hunting, ready to knock off the defending conference champion in a rivalry game. You'd love to see it. Yeah, put my red glasses on. Give me the Lady Toppers. I think we go to Huntsville, we make some noise, and we keep the magic rolling and beat MTSU. Tyler, who you got?
Sorry, I had to cough real quick. So Rick Insell, great coach. WKU staff and all of them had a great season. They did split. It is neutral. I don't know how many MTSU fans can fit inside a clown car and get down there, even though last season we was down there. It was a very substantial MTSU fan for this championship game that we saw before our guys played. So, you know what? Red glasses staying on, baby. WKU beats MTSU, sends them home packing to advance to the semifinals.
Yep. And then we've got Liberty and WKU on both of our brackets meeting in the championship game. Now, will be the number 1 seed Liberty versus WKU, the 3 seed. Tough matchup, man. It's a really tough matchup of 2 really deep and talented teams. I think this time of year it comes down to matchups. I think it comes down to luck. I think it comes down to who is playing their best basketball and who wants it more. And I think this WKU team has played with a chip on their shoulder all season. They've proven a lot of people wrong. Greg Collins, quite frankly, was sitting on a warm seat coming into this season. If you're listening to enough chatter on the message boards, on the Twitter, on the Facebook, there's people that didn't think Greg Collins could get it done. And he's done nothing but revamp this roster, bring in some talent, and has shown that they can compete right there at the top of the conference. So give me it, red glasses. Tops win, you win, we lit, baby. Tyler, who you got?
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but WKU stomps out the Flames. In their last matchup, Josie Gilvins had a great game, scored 31 points. The rest of the team didn't really contribute that much, but it is a new game. It is a one-and-done season. WKU Lady Toppers ends up beating Liberty Flames to go to the NCAA tournament, and they end up getting the rings and rings as queens. So give me the Tops winning the Conference USA championship.
Yeah, so looking at both of our brackets, 3 of our 4 brackets, since we each did 2, obviously, one men, 1 women. 3 of the 4 has WKU winning. The one that's not is me having the MTSU men winning. So maybe a little bit of red goggles on, a little bit biased over here, but it is what it is. Anything can happen in March. We saw that play out in real time last year. Hopefully, if you can make it to Huntsville, do that. Starting Tuesday night, WKU playing FIU, and then hopefully playing again Wednesday, and then on into Friday. We would play MTSU more than likely, and I expect the same thing to happen as last year. As WKU hopefully wins more and more games, we're going to see more and more Bowling Green get down there, wear red, be loud, and just give us a home court advantage and that extra energy and boost that we need. Anything can happen. And, hate it or love it, call us realist, call us bias, call us whatever you want. If it happens, we've now got it on video that we predicted that WKU, the men's and women team, can go down there and get some victories, win some tournaments, and go dancing. Quite frankly, I think both of these teams are talented enough and have the teams and the coaches and the desire and the ability to do so. But they are going to have to go play their best basketball for multiple games in a row, which has proven to be tough, especially on the men's side. I feel a lot better about my women's pick, them being, possibly going and pulling some upsets and getting to the championship game. But anything can happen. I'm here for it, man. Before we hit some final words and outro, I want to talk about the MVTs for the men's team specifically. And I just think it's been a lot of different players this year. Dawn's the usual suspect, but we've seen Braxton, we've seen Christian Lander as of late, we've seen Tyrone Marshall. We've just seen several different guys step up and be the guy for this team this year. So I just want to talk about, both of us, who we think the MVP for the conference tournament is going to be. So Tyler, I'll let you go first. Who would you circle as your MVP? Somebody that has to show up and step up and help lead this team to some victories.
Well, the last few weeks I've been choosing Tyrone Marshall, and for good reason. The dude's a great player, dude's a baller. But I'm going to have to go with Christian Lander. These last few games, he's proven to me that just a shooter don't have to be a shooter. He will shoot 3 if they're going in, great. If they're not, he will get around his guy, get to the lane, end up shooting a layup or a floater. and get fouled, and either the shot goes in and one, or it just goes in and he just continues playing because the dude's got that dog in him. I will say Christian Lander's going to be my MVP. Don McHenry, no offense, he's a great player, but I know he's going to do what Don McHenry does. And Tyrell Marshall is going to add to. But to me, Christian Lander has to show up and be that guy.
Not a bad pick. I mean, I think you can't go wrong with any of those guys. I think multiple guys have to show up and play really, really good basketball. We expect that from Don. We expect that from Christian. And I expect it from Tyrell Marshall. He's kind of been my X factor all year. When we see that aggressive Tyrone Marshall, the guy that's trying to get to the rim, draw some fouls, just use his athleticism, his size, his length to his advantage, and not just stand out at 3-point line and shoot threes all game. I think that's the best version of Tyrone Marshall, and I think he's my MVP. He's that X factor. He's somebody that if he turns it on and gets hot for a few games and can take some of that pressure off of Christian, Don, Braxton, Enoch, just all those guys, the game is going to open up for them if that defense has to account for him at all three levels. If he's driving to the goal, then it's going to lead to kick out corner threes. And other guys being able to cut just with the spacing that's going to create for them. So, give me Tyrone. I hope he turns it on like we've seen the last few games. We've seen that from him. We saw that versus Marquette when the lights are the brightest. He turned it on and was just an absolute force. We know how good he can be. He's a nightmare. He's a matchup problem. So give me Tyrone Marshall. He's my MVP. He's somebody I hope leads us to victory. And man, I can't wait for it. It's crazy that in less than 24 hours now, we'll know if we're advancing on the men's side with that FIU game. So looking forward to it. Conference tournament is here. We're not out of it. I know we honored 13 seniors this past Saturday, and that game obviously did not end how they wanted it to. I put this online. Several of those guys have eligibility left. They don't, we don't know. They don't know, I would assume at this point, what they're going to do, if they're going to come back, if they're going to exercise that year of eligibility, if they're going to transfer. There's going to be options on the table for them. I would assume that they're going to make the best decision for themselves, whether that's testing the portal, whether that's coming back with Hank and his team and running it back. But whatever it is, there's still a job to be finished in front of them, and that's in Huntsville. That's another conference tournament championship and hopefully another trip to the NCAA tournament. Tyler, hit me with your final words and take us on out.
Yeah, the reason I chose Western to end up winning the men's is because when this team gets hot, this team is hotter than $2 Pistol. And, if anything showed me that they have the resilience to come in, it would have been last year. And this year we even had a 6-game win streak. But last year, and I know it's not the same team. We lost some players. But, we were on a downhill slide. Lost the last 4 games, came in, shocked the conference. And I feel like this team can do it too. Surely they're going to use that Liberty loss as only motivation. It's a minor setback for a major comeback. I can tell you the coach is hungry. The seniors don't want to be a 1 and done or a 2 and done. They don't want their season to end like that. So I feel like the team's going to come together. They're going to rally, and we're about to see what this team can really do. It's going to be the X factor, and it's not over till the fat lady sings. And brother, that fat lady, she ain't even in the county yet. She's still over there, 3-4 counties over. She ain't even made it to the car. So with that, Moff, who has it better than us?
Nobody, buddy. You know it.
Go Tops.
Go Tops. Later, guys.
Win it all, guys.
See you.
See you.